So now we're going to have a look at soloing over a blues. All right. This is a really fun way to get started and is kind of a gateway into some jazz improvisation. So let's get started. First of all, you should know that a blues is generally 12 bars long, and it consists of 4 bars of C7, so that's the 1 chord, all right, followed by 2 bars of F7, which you could say is the 4 chord, and then back to 2 bars of C7, so back to the 1 chord. And then we're going to go to G7 for a bar, which is the 5 chord, and then F7 for the bar, which is the 4 chord, and then 2 bars of C7, which is the 1 chord. So it's 4 bars of 1, then 2 bars of 4, then back to 1, and then 1 bar of 5, 1 bar of 4, and then back to 1. All right, so let's take a second right now and just go through that. All right. So your left hand for now is going to play the root of the chord, and your right hand is going to play the chord itself. 1, 2, 3, 4. C7, 3, 4, 2, 2, 3, 4, C7, and C7. Now, for now, I'm going to go down to F7. Okay, F7 again. And back to C7. Very good. C7. And we're going to go to G7, 2, 3, 4, F7, and then back up to C7. Very good. Fantastic. So that would be something for you to practice a whole bunch of times through until you're able to play it without a lot of thought and effort. So repeat that as many times as you need to. The walking bass line is something that we're very familiar with hearing in jazz, and what it entails is the bass player outlining the harmony in some way. And so I'm going to show you a very simple way to outline the harmony and walk a bass line. It's going to be left hand going 1, 3, 5, 3. All right. So for F7, 1, 3, 5, 3, right? And then for the G7, okay, so let's try that while we play the chord in the right hand. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now let's go to F7. G7 for a bar, F7, back up to C7. Excellent. So the next step that we're going to take is the right hand is going to play what we call a comping rhythm. And comping is the rhythmic thing that piano players do behind the melody or behind improvised solo. So I'm going to give you a very, very simple rhythm, and this rhythm is called the Charleston figure. It's a dotted quarter note followed by an eighth note. And it goes like this. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1 and 2 and 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 3, 4. So let's put that all together. Left hand walking a bass line while the right hand plays the Charleston figure for the chords. 1, 2, 3, 4. Long, short. Now let's go to F7. Great job. So now that you've played through the chords of the blues, we're now going to look at creating an environment where we can improvise. All right. Now we could, if we wanted to, play the whole chord in the left hand, and that would be perfectly fine. So there's a reason that you're not going to play the whole chord in your left hand. There's a couple of reasons actually. One of those reasons is that it can be very fatiguing for your left hand to play 4-note chords. So unless you're used to playing a lot of 4-note chords in your left hand, I think it's a better bet to play what I'm going to suggest now. And also, in jazz, we frequently play voicings, which are taking some notes out, putting some notes in to kind of imply the harmony instead of going blah and like playing it. Okay, it's a little more nuanced than that. So these voicings are called solo piano shell voicings. Okay, and what you're going to do, if this is the C7 chord, okay, what you're actually going to do is just play the root and the 7th. Okay, just like that. Okay. It provides enough of a structure and framework for the harmony that you can hear enough of it, but it's not so obvious as playing the whole chord. So this is what you'll play for C7, right? And then what are you going to play for F7? You're going to play the root and the 7th, right? And then the other chord is G7, so play the root and the 7th, right? So let's try one time around the whole form of the blues, just playing these 2-note voicings. 1, 2, 3, 4. 4, C7. Now, here we go to F7. That's right, sort of plan ahead. Now here comes G7. G7. And then F7, and then C7. Really good. Excellent job. So again, take as much time as you need to work your way through getting this under your fingers a little bit. And if that takes you several practice sessions, that's totally fine. All right. Now to get started improvising, we're actually going to improvise using only 4 notes. All right, and it seems crazy. We're going to use literally 4 notes to improvise over the entire structure of the blues. And those notes are G, A, C, and E flat. Okay? These notes are frequently heard as like a riff or a lick that you would hear in a blues. It sort of implies the blues scale a little bit, and it's a really effective way to get started improvising. Okay, so what's going to happen is your left hand is going to play those 2-note shell voicings, the root and the 7th, and your right hand is going to improvise using only these 4 notes. All right, at first I'm going to suggest that you just improvise in half notes. Okay, so it's not going to be the most interesting thing you've ever heard, but it is going to get the job done. So let's do one chorus, just improvising using half notes. 1, 2, 3, 4. 2, 3, 4. 2, 3, 4. Here's F7. You can move the notes around into different ranges of the piano. So I just put the notes in different order. You can stay in that same little position, or you can move it out across the piano a little bit more. Trying just doing it as half notes. Now we're going to do the same thing using quarter notes. 1, 2, 3, 4. Repeat notes. G7. Great work. So once you get used to those 4 notes, it's kind of interesting, right? That you kind of just move around those notes. So now we're going to try one more component of this. And this is you're going to improvise using kind of whatever rhythms you feel like. So you can explore rhythmically using these 4 notes. So let's try it. 1, 2, 3, 4. So that's our little 4-note kind of mini scale that you can use for the entire blues. Practice it a whole bunch of times. Practice it with the metronome, try it with a drum machine or the iReal Pro app, any different way so that you can kind of keep really in steady time. You can also, if you want, try this blues in different keys. You can transpose it into different keys and explore it that way. So this is an easy way to get started playing the blues. Understanding the 12-bar form, learning to read the chord symbols and be able to play them, walking a bass line, comping rhythms in your right hand, and then learning how to improvise based on certain notes that go along with the chords. If you want to learn to play jazz piano in a really fast and effective way, check out my course, Jazz Piano Accompaniment. I've developed a very unique method of boiling down jazz piano skills to a very easy step-by-step curriculum. It's fun, it's fast, and it's the most effective way that I could ever come up with to be able to learn how to play. I've had the great fortune to perform all over the world as a leader and a side person with some really fantastic international acts. I've released a bunch of albums as a leader, both singing and playing piano. And I've taken this real experience as a performer and translated it into being a teacher as well. I've taught hundreds of people how to play piano and how to play jazz piano authentically. You don't have to be a master of jazz theory. You don't have to be a super experienced pianist to be able to do this. Jazz piano isn't rocket science. It's actually something super fun and easy for you to learn. Come and join me.